What is going on, guys? Welcome back to another video. Today we're going over the week 4 waiver wire. So we're going to be talking about the teams with the best and worst schedules, the best streamers to add to maximize your games, and also some new must-add players. Starting things off, let's talk about the teams with the most off nights. And this week is certainly interesting because on certain nights, which are typically heavy, you could have a open roster spot available. Those nights being Tuesday and Thursday. Those are typically heavy nights, but there's only 7 games on each of these 2 nights. So lots of teams with off nights this week, and that means there's going to be a lot of streaming options. Nonetheless, the best players to stream are going to be on these 4 teams right here. These teams having 4 games and 4 off nights. And those teams are the Calgary Flames, the Winnipeg Jets, the New York Islanders, and the Tampa Bay Lightning. As you guys can see, I'm including opponent goals against average. Yes, it's still a small sample size, but I thought I'd include it. And with these 4 teams, the Flames definitely have the best opponent schedule. And then the Lightning and the Islanders, it's not the best. So take it with a grain of salt because it's still a small sample size, but certainly worth taking a look at when you're streaming players. There's also a bunch of teams that have 4 games and 3 off nights, so very solid as well. And those teams are the Bruins, the Blackhawks, the Kraken, the Sharks, the Capitals, the Blue Jackets, and the Leafs. The Blue Jackets and the Leafs don't have the easiest opponents, but the Bruins, Blackhawks, Kraken, and Sharks definitely face some teams that let in a lot of goals, so something to consider. We also have more teams that have solid schedules, these teams having 3 games and 3 off nights, so good streaming options as well here. These teams being the Minnesota Wild and the Ducks, who have a very good opponent goals against average. Then the Hurricanes, the Oilers, and the Rangers, which also have a solid opponent goals against average as well. Moving on, let's talk about the teams with the least amount of games. These teams only play twice, and this is very tough because there's a lot of great teams and great schedules this week. So if you're holding a bunch of players on these teams, it might be difficult. The teams that have 2 games and 1 off night are the Red Wings and the Stars. The Red Wings facing some tough opponents. And then the Devils, they have 2 games and 2 off nights. So the off nights are good, but only 2 games is not ideal. And their opponents are pretty difficult as well. So yeah, I wouldn't suggest picking up players from these teams for this week. Moving on to the streamers. The streamers on teams with 4 off nights, these teams being the Flames, the Jets, the Islanders, and the Lightning. It's going to depend on your league settings and which players are available, obviously. But the Flames, there's always some solid options on the Flames. Lots of guys with decently low roster percentages, like Kadri. Kadri's a beast, but he's only like 63% rostered on Yahoo, so he could be an amazing stream this week. Igor Sharangovich is returning from injury. He played 19 minutes in his first game. First line, first power play unit. Doesn't put up the best peripherals. Kuzmenko, good deployment, but the peripherals aren't the best. Huberdeau, he's always a solid option, even though he's going to cool down guys. But those 4 guys are all power play 1 with Uyghur. And then some other good options: Blake Coleman, Mikael Backlund, Martin Pospisil, Connor Zary, Kirkland. Kirkland and Pospisil put up really good hits. So like I said, it really depends on your league settings. With the Jets, Ehlers could be available in a shallow league. Power play 1 guy playing really well. Velarde, very low roster percentage. I understand he has not been the best. It will depend on your league settings because his peripherals are not the best. But he's still line 1 and power play 1. And this could be the week where he starts to have some big games, guys. So he's not available in any of my leagues, but if he was available, I would absolutely pick him up. Some other options: Cole Perfetti, Namestikov, Pioink, Niederreiter, Lowry, Appleton. These guys aren't the best because they're not on the first power play unit, but in some deeper leagues, getting these 4 games and 4 off nights from them could be solid. Then with the Islanders, there's definitely some good options too. Matt Barzal, he's probably not available in most leagues, but looking at his roster percentage, he definitely could be in some more shallow leagues. Bo Horvat is absolutely a great option. Brock Nelson, these guys could be available. And then some other options. It's hard to say in terms of power play deployment because they're mixing up the units right now. But Kyle Palmieri's getting some power play time. He's putting up some good production. Maxime Siplikov puts up good hits. He's still getting good ice time and good power play time. John Gabriel Peugeot, Anders Lee, Simon Holmstrom. Holmstrom is on the first line right now. Don't foresee that lasting very long, but in a deeper league, he could be an okay option. Then with the Lightning, there's never a lot of great options on the Lightning, but Brandon Hagel, doubt he's available in any league that takes fantasy hockey seriously at the moment because obviously he's playing really well. He's on the top power play units. But if he is, I would definitely stream him or hold him long term, even though I do think he's a sell high. Anthony Cirelli, he's not first power play unit, but he gets decent ice time in the top 6. Nicholas Paul, solid option, depending on your league, scoring values. JJ Moser, he's a sell high, but he is producing. And then Connor Geeky. I'm sure there's some more options here that I haven't mentioned, especially if you're in a super deep league. But all you have to do is look at the teams on your platform, look at the players on those teams, and decide which players are the best to pick up. Moving on to 3 off-night streamers. I can't give you a list, guys, because there's 12 teams that have 3 off nights. So what you want to do here is look at the opponent goals against average of these teams, figure out which players on these teams are available and are the best options according to your league settings. Make sure you check out deployment. Look out for players that are on the first or the second line or on the top power play unit. And also players that could put up good peripherals as well, depending on your league, right? If you're in a category league, you might want certain guys over others. And yeah, I mean, just go on your platform, look at the teams on this list, look at the players that are available, and make a decision. Moving on, let's talk about some must-add players. First being Matvei Michkov. I've already talked about him, but I just think his roster percentage on Yahoo is too low. He's getting elite ice time. Yes, his power play points are unsustainable. Yes, his shooting percentage is unsustainable. I do think he could be a good sell-high candidate. But for now, if he is available, he absolutely should be rostered in any leagues with 8 teams or more. Another guy who I think their roster percentage is way too low is Nazem Kadri. I know he only has center eligibility depending on your platform, but he is getting elite deployment. He always puts up really good peripherals, and he's a great stream for this week as well. So absolutely take a look at him. Another player here is Brian Rust. He was injured last night, guys, so we'll see what happens, but I still think his roster percentage is too low considering his deployment, considering his peripherals. So yeah, I had to put him on this list. Next, we have Ross Colton of the Avalanche. I've already talked about this guy quite a bit, but if he is still available, I absolutely would take a look at him because he's line 1 with McKinnon and Rantanen. He's first power play unit, and he puts up elite peripherals. We don't know what his potential is long term because we still have Lehkonen coming back soon, Nichushkin, maybe Landeskog. But for now, he's an absolute must-add player still. Then we have Josh Norris of the Ottawa Senators. He's in the top 6. He's power play 1. He puts up good peripherals. I think his roster percentage is too low, so he's on here. And then JJ Peterka. He is getting absolutely elite ice time. Thompson is looking like his former self, from 22-23. Yeah, the top line is cooking, and he's getting good power play time as well. So I just think he has a lot of breakout potential. I'm very high on him, and his roster percentage on Yahoo is way too low. Next, we have Arturi Lehkonen of the Avalanche. He's getting evaluated on the 29th, but it's looking like he is very close to returning. So, yeah, I would definitely take a look at him because he is a solid fantasy player. I'm not sure if he's going to be power play 1 with Colton playing really well, but he was on power play 1 during practice in their last practice, and he should be in the top 6. So he'll be solid. Some more ads here. Igor Chinakhov of the Blue Jackets, still getting good deployment, still putting up solid peripherals, has that breakout potential. I'm definitely a fan. Braden Shen. With Robert Thomas out for at least 6 weeks, we don't know exactly how long he's going to be out for, but at least 6 weeks is what we are told. Shen is now on the top power play unit with all those guys, Buchnevich, Kyrou, etc. So he's going to be in the top 6 on the first power play unit, puts up good peripherals. It's a no-brainer ad. Another player is Gabriel Vilardi. Listen, guys, I'm going to get comments like, Vilardi sucks, he doesn't shoot the puck, his peripherals are bad. Listen, I have to talk about players that could be good in certain leagues over others. Like, not every league heavily values peripherals. And in those type of leagues that don't, Vilardi is an absolute buy low. He's still line 1. He's power play 1. His roster percentage is going to go up, guys. This could be the week where he pops off. And guys, he has 4 games and 4 off nights this week. So definitely a must-add player. Next, we have Igor Sharangovich, line 1, power play 1. Not the best peripherals, but he's healthy. He got 19 minutes in his first game. And he could be solid for the entire year. Next, we have Kirill Marchenko of the Blue Jackets. This guy has serious breakout potential. I think he's only 13% rostered on Yahoo. And right now, he's averaging 19 minutes and 4 seconds of ice time per game. This is almost 3 more minutes from last year. He's on the power play 1 now, I believe, with Ken Johnson out with an injury. He's going to be out long term. So, yeah, I'm really high on Marchenko. He loves to score goals. He loves to shoot the puck. And you OGs know, if you've been watching the channel for a couple of years, how high I was on Kirill Marchenko last year. So, yeah, definitely a must-add player. Next, we have Connor Garland of the Vancouver Canucks. This is an absolute must-add player, guys. 18 minutes and 29 seconds of ice time per game. This is 4 more minutes than last year, guys. He averaged 14 minutes and 32 seconds in the previous season, and he still put up 47 points. So, very interesting deployment from him. On the power play 1 over Jake DeBrusk. Looks really good out there. Decent peripherals. Yeah, you need to add Connor Garland if he's available. Next, we got Matthew Nyes of the Toronto Maple Leafs. He's getting solid ice time as of late. He's actually averaging more ice time than John Tavares. and he's line 1 with Austin Matthews. So that's always good. Puts up really good hits if your league values those. And there is a chance that he could get on the power play 1 at some point because this Leafs power play is struggling and Tavares does not look the best. Moving on to some more must-add players. Pavel Dorobev. I could be pronouncing that wrong. I think somebody commented that I am. But anyways, guys, this guy is power play 1 with Victor Olofsson out. He just had a 3-point night last night against the Sharks. And he put up 9 shots as well. So, yeah, he certainly passes the eye test. I'm loving his deployment. And, yeah, an absolute must-add player while Victor Olofsson is out with an injury. Then some more players here. Fabian Zetterlund may not have the best protection, but he has elite peripherals, so he will be underrated in a lot of leagues. Jake Neighbors, he's finally producing. He's in the top 6. He's on the power play 1. He puts up good peripherals. This is a no-brainer in certain leagues, depending on your league size. Stefan Nason. He's line 3. He doesn't have the best ice time, but he's power play 1 over Timo Meier. This could last the entire season, guys, because Nason is a very good net front player. And he puts up solid hits and blocks as well. So definitely a solid option. Then we have Dylan Cousins. He's line 2, power play 1. I wrote buy low potential here because he has something like 30-something shots and 0 goals. The goals will come very soon. And yeah, he's on power play 1 right now with Tage and all those guys that are producing at a very good rate. And the power play is going to get going too, guys. It was 0 for 22 before yesterday's game. And I think Cousins is going to have a higher roster percentage very soon. Next, we have Logan Stankoven. We don't know exactly how the lines are going to be because sometimes when Bork is in the lineup, they have Johnson up there. But Stankoven is line 1 with Hintz and Robertson currently, and he has put up very good production. So very impressed with the way that he's playing. The goals will come, and he could be good for the entire year. Next, we have Nick Foligno. He's line 1, power play 1, puts up good hits, really good ice time. He may not be the best depending on your league, but if your league counts hits, he's certainly a viable option. The final list here among forwards is Adam Fantilli. No, he doesn't have the best power play time, but his ice time has been solid. He puts up really solid peripherals. In my opinion, he looks like he's the best player on this Blue Jackets team. So yeah, he passes the eye test. And I think we're going to see him get better and better throughout the year. You know, he only has center eligibility depending on your platform, but I still think that he is underrated and that his roster percentage is going to go way up in the next couple of months. With some more players here, Kirby Dach, he's in the top 6. He's power play 1. I think he's on line 1 with Slavkovsky out, but Slavkovsky is going to be back very soon, so that won't last. But yeah, I mean, I like Kirby Dach. I think he puts up really good peripherals, only has center eligibility, but his roster percentage is too low, in my opinion. Next up, we have Morgan Frost. Only played 11 minutes last night, which wasn't great, but he's still in the top 6. He's still in power play 1, and he is due to score some goals, guys, because he is taking a lot of shots. He is generating scoring chances, and he's definitely due to bounce back. Next, we have Jason Zucker, still power play 1 over Tuck. Don't know how long this is going to last, and I hope it doesn't, guys, because I drafted quite a bit of Tuck, but for now, he's definitely a must-add player in a deeper league. Next, we have Cole Sillinger of the Blue Jackets. Not sure of his long-term potential and what his production is going to look like, but his deployment has been very solid in the top 6. I'm pretty sure he's line 1, getting good power play time. So, yeah, he has some breakout potential. He's a young player and could be worth a look in some deeper leagues. Next, we have Sean Couturier of the Philadelphia Flyers. Obviously had this big game yesterday. Not expecting him to be some sort of amazing fantasy player for the entire year. But the reason that he's on this list is because they moved him up to line 1 with Matvei Michkov and Travis Konechny. As long as he's line 1 with those guys, he will put up decent production. So in some deeper leagues, he could be a good option. Moving on to some new defenseman ads. Luke Hughes, he was activated off IR. Not sure if he's going to get back on the power play 1, and he doesn't put up the best peripherals, but he will produce offensively because he's very talented. So could be a good ad if he's available. Then we have Brant Clark. Still doesn't have the best even strength ice time, but he's on the power play 1. He is producing, and he's a very gifted offensive defenseman. So certainly worth a look. Then we have an interesting 1% rostered guy on Yahoo that is currently getting some solid deployment and putting up okay peripherals. That guy is Jack Thompson of the San Jose Sharks. Currently, he's power play 1 over Jake Wallman. I don't know if this is going to last long term. Definitely not good for Wallman owners. But Jack Thompson has 3 power play points in the last 3 games. The Sharks' power play has been horrible, and as soon as he went on it, they started producing. So it definitely gives him some room to stay on this top unit for the time being. So absolutely a must-add player considering his 1% roster percentage. Next, we have Olen Zellweger of the Anaheim Ducks. He had 6 shots last night, which is actually tied for the most shots of any Ducks player this season. So that was a good sign for me. But the reason why he's a must-add player is that he has led the Ducks in ice time in the last 2 games. It was looking like Zellweger was going to be the odd man out going into the year, but with the way that he's playing, he definitely earned his role on this team. He gets solid power play time, and he might put up some decent production because of his offensive talent. Moving down this list, we have Riker Evans. No, Evans is not some sort of fantasy stud, but with Vince Dunn out long term, he is going to get more ice time, even strength, and on the power play. So certainly worth a look in some deeper leagues. Then we have Alex Vlasic of the Chicago Blackhawks. His ice time has been good, and the big thing why he could be a must-add player is that they put him on the power play 1 over Seth Jones. I will say, guys, I do not expect this to last because Jones has been pretty good in the power play. He has like 4 power play points in 8 games, and the Blackhawks power play has been good. So I don't know why they did this. Something to keep an eye out for, but I expect Jones to get back on this power play at some point in the near future. So I wouldn't necessarily pick up Vlasic unless I'm in a deeper league. Finally, we have Simon Edmondson. This is a deeper league ad if your league values peripherals like blocks because he's getting good ice time and he puts up a lot of blocks. So in those type of leagues, he could be good. Next, we have some new goalie ads. Jessica Noonan of the Colorado Avalanche. I doubt he's available anymore, but he is outplaying Georgiev like he did last season. And I mean, as long as he's playing good, he's going to get starts on a team that is a playoff team. So yeah, definitely a must-add goalie. Next, we have Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen of the Buffalo Sabres. He has bounced back. He's looked good out there. The Sabres are playing well as of late. And Devin Levi has the lowest saves above expected. So statistically, Levi has been the worst goalie in the NHL. Next, we have Ilya Samsonov of the Vegas Golden Knights. He is outplaying Adin Hill. It's a fact. He's gaining more starts. He's looking good out there. I think him splitting is probably the ceiling for him, but the Golden Knights have a very good defensive structure, and they are a very good team. So, yeah, Samsonov is definitely a must-add goalie. Then we have some more goalies here. Kevin Lankinen, he has played great. He's way better than Shelovs, it looks like. And until Demko returns, he is going to be one of the best goalie options that could be available on the wire. So, definitely take a look at him. Then we have Alex Lyon of the Detroit Red Wings. He's outplaying Talbot. He's playing really good like he did last year, so certainly worth a look. Next, we have Lucas Dostal. He's playing really well. He's putting up really good stats. He's going to get peppered with shots. The only problem is that Gibson is returning very soon, so it's going to vulture starts away from him. So his volume might not be the best, but hey, who knows? Maybe Gibson will get traded at some point. Dostal is definitely the goalie of the future, so definitely worth an ad. Next, we have Joel Hofer of the St. Louis Blues. Jordan Binnington is still there, and he's going to start a lot of games, so I'm unsure of Hofer's long-term volume potential, but he has way better stats than Binnington, so if he keeps playing well, he's going to gain more starts. Finally, we have 2 more goalies. The Blue Jackets are not a playoff team, but Danil Tarasov could be a viable option if your league values volume because Elvis could be on his way out, guys. Elvis has been one of those guys where he's been in trade talks, and I think they probably see Tarasov as their long-term goalie for now. So could be worth an ad in some deeper leagues. Then finally, we have some Pittsburgh goalies, Joel Blomqvist and Nedeljkovic. This is very risky, guys, because the Penguins look terrible. Their defense looks terrible. But Jari was sent down to the AHL, and he's going to be there for a couple of weeks. So if you want volume, those guys could be good. All right, guys, that is the end of the video. Hit that like button if you enjoyed it. Subscribe if you're new to the channel, and I will catch you in the next one.